heartiest congratulations for making it to the prestigious Emerging Leaders League.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you to the team.
So absolutely, absolutely. So I'm sure the team must have briefed you already that we have 4 set of questions, that I'll be asking. So I'll go one by one, and then
Sure.
very briefly you can answer each question.
Sure. Will do.
Okay. So here we go. So you're all set. Shall we proceed?
Yes, we can start. Thank you.
Awesome, great. So the first question is, about your journey. So we would love to know more about your key milestones, your experiences that have really shaped your path and got you here.
Sure. So firstly, Aditya, I think the theme of my career so far has been something new, different, challenging every single year. So it was not limited to the role I am in, which company I'm in. I think I consciously work towards how can I learn newer, aspects of my current job. So it's not that I was changing jobs every year, but how can I expand my horizon and scope? So that hunger for doing more diverse things was there. So I think that shaped a lot of what I am today. Another piece was a little bit of courage and risk taking. I think I took a lot of risks early on in my career. The same fundamentals of finance apply, right? High risk, high return. And your risk appetite is the highest when you're younger. So I did that when I began with marketing on the brand side. Then I went on the agency side. I learned how money matters, right? It's not just sitting in the ivory tower. And so the revenues, and then I got into HR from marketing. And then from hiring to campus to talent, I'm just amazed at how it has shaped out. And it was not a planned thing because there are external things that work out. And lastly, I think I traveled a lot personally. That shaped a lot of who I am because I'm open to something very different from who I am or what I think. So that I can see myself applying at work. I'm open to diversity and a very new perspective. I'm not uncomfortable with change. So traveling solo, actually, I've done that a lot. So I think these are some of the experiences. And lastly, my experience of being a manager. So that's when I got out of myself and my career and my tasks, and then started looking at how am I enabling another person/people's careers. So that was a life-shifting situation at work for me. Yeah.
Wow, that's quite an interesting journey you have. And I think that point of risk-taking ability, not everybody has that, but who have that, I'm sure, today or tomorrow, they'll definitely succeed. It talks a lot about your conviction and you believe in yourself that you're taking that risk. So kudos. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful journey. So that brings me to the second question, about your core values. So what are the fundamental principles that guide your actions and decision making?
Right. So this is something that has validated by several personality tests also, Aditya. So interesting because now I'm in talent. But my first fundamental value is kindness, and was also the reason behind me shifting from marketing to people practice, because I felt there was so much scope of that, of leaving people better than how they were before they met me. And it's not necessarily just pleasing them. Sometimes a constructive critical feedback can also leave them better. So I feel kindness was and will always be my first and foremost core value. Second is purpose. For me, what is my why has always been the driving factor. So while the roles, etc., may look different, but the end objective always remains same. So I always look at how am I adding on my purpose every single day. Even though it's a mundane Excel sheet data work, I will want to remove that purpose from there. So that is second. And I think, whenever I look at a task, am I making it better? Am I answering the problem at hand? And how can I do it better than what was done before? So these couple of things are really my core values.
Absolutely. Very, very well said. Quite interesting as well. Now, we would also love to know, in fact, intrigued to know your success mantra. So please share some strategies or beliefs that have contributed to your achievement.
So firstly and foremost is, see, you can never be successful at anything without your ecosystem supporting you. So my first success mantra would be to work on building trust and connections. And that you can do by being authentic. So if you cannot, fulfill something that you've promised, if you're able to do it sooner or later, you need help, all that, being vulnerable, keeping people informed and communicated. And the previous one that I had shared, that leaving them better with where they were. I think that is my single largest success mantra. Without trust and connection, you can never be successful because you're not a solo warrior at work. You have to work with so many other people. So that was one. And second is the fact that, please remember, there is always a solution. You may choose not to look at it, or it may look very difficult, but there is always a solution. That is my success mantra too. I think I'm known in my circles for being persistent and annoyingly persistent to find an answer to something that people have given up on. So tenacity, kind of persisting behind something. And lastly, adding a touch of, what I am to my work. So I always believe that you need not be the CEO of a company to leave your legacy behind. You can leave your legacy every single day, every email that you write, any presentation that you make. It needs to have a touch of you. So how is it that you're leveraging all your past experiences and yourself in every day, in everything that you do? So these are my success mantras, Aditya.
Wow, that's very interesting. In fact, the authenticity part that you mentioned, a touch of you, who you are as a person, that reflects quite a lot what you have learned so far in your career, how your journey has been, your learnings, your key takeaways, and trying to make an impact, with that is very interesting. I think this is something very new that I've learned so far. I haven't heard this point, but very, very interesting. The zeal to create that impact, the community mindset that you mentioned, the solution orientation that you mentioned. I think these are very, very important points that drive us, and I'm sure this has really driven you to what you are today, for sure.
Thank you, Aditya. Thanks for summarizing it so beautifully. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now a very interesting question. What is the piece of advice that you have for young HR leaders? What words of wisdom or guidance do you have for them? And because they certainly are going to follow your footsteps. So what is the best piece of advice for the young HR leaders?
I have 4 very crisp, things to leave behind. One is, just because you are young and new and fresh does not mean that you have nothing to add to the table. So make sure that whenever you are in a meeting or a conversation or any interaction, do not let your newness or freshness or lack of experience be a barrier in your head to contribute, to ask a question, to be there, to be present, and to make the most of that conversation. Second, leadership, I have believed that is not personalized, is personalized. It's not one size fits all. So the way you communicate to a person should be dependent on what that person is expecting out of that conversation or equation. It's not that I am this and I will remain this and others have to adjust. So I think adaptability, adapting yourself to different colleague situations, difficult crisis, etc., is going to be your Brahmastra, as I can say. Third is never stop learning. And I know this is cliched, but I've really lived through that. And every single thing, a disappointment, a rude comment, or a win, everything has something in it for you to take away. So rather than cribbing about why am I here or what am I doing, a perspective shift saying that what can I do and take away from this situation that will make me better, to face this better. And lastly, perfection is highly overrated, but consistency is not. I think consistency in doing something every single day for the rest of your 35, 40 years career which is learning, contributing, showing up, adding value. All these factors can never go wrong. And you may make mistakes, you may not be perfect, but at the end of the day, just stay humble, stay foolish, don't take yourself so seriously, and remain consistent to what you're doing. You will most definitely reach where you aspire to.
Oh, that's a beautiful piece of advice for everyone. In fact, one of my favorite takeaways as well for this. So growth mindset is something here that can really summarize everything that you just mentioned. I think that's the thing.
Yeah,
And just believing in yourself, in your abilities, and I love the point of consistency that you mentioned. We often, fail to follow this important point that it's you can. I mean, you cannot be perfect. Just accept it. We cannot be perfect, but we can be consistent in things that we are doing good, the value that we are adding to the community and to ourselves as an individual or as a professional. That consistency, I think, really matters a lot. It also talks about the trust that we are building. Be consistent in the trust that that people have in you or you have in people. So beautifully, thank you so much, Nandini, for
thank you.
sharing this with us.
Thank you for listening, and thank you to the entire team here. Thank you, Aditya. All the very best.
Thank you. All the very best to you as well. Keep shining, keep rising.
You too. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you very
Bye.
much. Bye bye. Bye bye.